by the grace of your hands, these hands, by the grace of your
Hello, welcome to the Don Ellis Gatlin Show. That's me, yeah. And I got my amazing bandmate guitarist to my right here, Mr. Tony Hahn. And we're going to start out with a song by my hero, my favorite singer of all time, Mr. Elvis Presley. It goes like this. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin if I can't help falling in love with you? Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too. If I can't help falling in love with you, if I can't help falling in love with you. Tony on! Oh, folks, I hope you're ready for an exciting time tonight. We have an amazing, awesome guest. His name is Keni Thomas, and we're going to get him up here right now with the rest of the guys. Keni!
Good job. Thank you.
This guy is absolutely amazing, and we're so glad you're here. You
too.
traveled away. You flew over.
I flew from this state right here.
You flew by yourself and your beautiful dog.
Yeah, he's a good co-pilot.
Unbelievable.
Key, buddy.
Well, we'll get this thing kicked off right off the bat.
Dude, good song.
Thank you very much.
I feel like should be like
I love-
gambling at the casino.
Well, you know what? I love Elvis, and one of my other top favorite singers, a very important guy in my career, is the great Mr. Kenny Rogers. And this first song, you're going to start things off, get the ball rolling for us, is you had Kenny Rogers on your record on this song you're going to do for us to kick things off. Am I right or am I right?
Not on this song.
Am I wrong already?
You're already wrong. You're fired.
I'm fired already.
Take the day off.
Well, folks, trust me out there.
take the
Kenny
day off.
Rogers, he's been in the studio. Kenny Rogers came and sang with him, and a bunch of other great artists you've worked with.
He did.
But did anybody special on this record?
No. Yeah,
Nobody but Keni.
Here's the thing about this song. So
All right.
the Shreveport.
Y'all fooled me already.
When we sat, the record that we did with Kenny Rogers and
Right.
Emmylou and everybody, all the great people that you remember that came in on it.
Incredible.
We had done this. It was a Flags Are Fire. So we did this military tribute, basically.
Right.
Some of the songs were heavy, some of them were light, but it was really kind of the life of what a soldier might live and songs that they would.
Right.
So somewhere along the line in Nashville, you have to kind of expand your career, is what I was told. Like, you got to write about things that people know, because there's only 1% of America served and listens to country music is served in the military. You know,
You're one of those percent,
I am
by
one
the
of
way,
those. Thank you.
everybody. Thank you for your
Thank you,
service.
for, veterans. So I sat down and I'm like, okay, well, I got to write a love song. And I'm like, well, surely I'm not the only guy that's gotten into a 1970 Dodge Dart with a slant 6 engine and driven across the country because you thought the girl in California really wanted to see you.
Man, you're cool.
Only to find out that when you got there, she was perfectly happy with the dude she was shacking up with.
Oh.
So you had to turn around in your slant 6 Dart and drive all the way back.
That's a long drive.
So Billy Montana wrote this song.
Love Billy.
Shreveport to L.A. is the name of this.
Kenny Thomas, everybody. Yes.
Oh, I am. That would be disastrous. All right. Want to take us there?
Night falls like a hammer on an anvil. Stations fading on the radio. I keep driving to Texas and New Mexico. Can't believe the time and miles between us. California seems a galaxy away. Got out the country, think of what I wanna say. I'm traveling all that way, from Shreveport to LA. Some wish for milk and honey, some wish for pocket money, some wish that they could have their wasted years back. Some wish for fortune, fame, and some wish for what's her name, and some wish that they could get their lives on track. Yeah, yeah, I wish that I had you. I wish that I had you. I'm wishing all the way from Shreveport to LA. Sunrise is coming up behind me. Windows down and I can smell the heat. Fighting this feeling, girl, I should've maybe stayed back east. And I've got your picture, honey, in my rearview mirror now. Tires moaning on the interstate. Yeah, I got out the country, think of what I wanna say. Yeah, I'm traveling all that way. Shreveport to LA. Some wish for milk and honey, some wish for pocket money, some wish that they could have their wasted years back. Some wish for fortune, fame, and some wish for what's her name, and some wish that they could get their lives on track. Yeah, yeah, I wish that I had you. I wish that I had you. I wish
Yeah, that was in honor of your
That's
Elvis.
what I'm talking about. That was Elvis right there.
It was.
That is a darn good way to start the show right there.
It's fun. Yeah, good
Awesome.
job.
Kenny Thomas, everybody.
You know, one of the important things about being in a band, when I used to always tell the guys before we'd get on stage, I'd be like, okay, it's very important that you don't suck.
That always helps.
We do not suck tonight.
No,
This
that's
is
awesome.
good.
How about the guys? Tony Hahn on lead
Tony
guitar.
Hahn.
Josh
Thank you.
Berkheimer on the drums. Scott Pope. I went blank for a second. Scott Pope on the bass.
Yeah, the bass is the key.
Jay Smith on the Fidel.
Fidel.
Awesome.
They call it the bass because it is the basis of everything.
True.
We don't have a wiggle on our
backbone.
butt. That's the butt and the wiggle.
It is.
So that song, it comes from him. So that
Do it.
song, they were right. Everybody related to that one, and it peaked out at number 3, but that was our big hit. We were all who saw it coming? Not me.
Hey, it's a great tune.
Thank
And
you.
Billy's one of our best friends. Billy's amazing. Montana, just shout out to Billy if he's watching tonight. He's actually our first guest on our first show. Billy was our guest.
He's a good primary guest.
Now, of course, I know that the military is important to you.
Yes, it is.
You've done so much. I mean, it's an amazing story. It really is a special story. You've done so much, and if you could explain a little background, you obviously tell it better than me. But you're a very, very awesome decorated Ranger, and again, we appreciate you very much.
Like decorate, like home.
Well,
goods
you've
and
gotten
things like that.
rewarded for your
I
service.
got you. Thank you. Yes.
And can you tell a little bit about our public out there?
Yes.
watching a little
So for those who don't know the backstory, I served in the 75th Ranger Regiment and 3rd Ranger Battalion. Back in '93, anybody seen the movie Black Hawk Down?
Yes.
So that was a handful of guys. It was a special operations package, Task Force Ranger, what we were called. It was some Delta Force guys, some Rangers, 160th Special Operations Air Wing guys. They were over there at Fort Campbell over in Kentucky.
Right.
We've played over there before.
That's right.
And there were some Navy guys with small tattoos of sea mammals on their arms. They never like to talk about who they are. But you know how you know a Navy SEAL when you meet them?
What?
They'll tell you. But we were all together, and we went in on this manhunt, and the mission went great. Like, I mean, as far as a mission could go, and I know it always sounds like I'm bragging. I was like, there are people shooting. It really wasn't that bad, and it wasn't that bad because they were missing, which is key.
Which is always good.
Yeah, which is preferred.
Always good.
And so we finished the mission, and we were wrapping it up. We got the bad guys out of the building, and that's when the helicopter got shot down. The first one got shot down, and the battle then was to now go secure that crash site and go help those guys. And that's kind of as history would know. It was a long, long fight. So it fought through the night. And what I think I learned most from it now, thank you. Because
So
you're
was
just so
it-
used to having a mic, you're like,
It was.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
So it wasn't like some of the movies you see in Hollywood where they come one at a time and you take on
Right.
50 guys and
50 of them, yeah.
and you come out with a little nick right here.
Yeah, it's a different reality, and I think what you learn from it when you come out on the other end is the value of the people on your left and your right. And if you were to talk to any of us, or any veteran for that matter, that has come back to the real world, their biggest challenge is how do you find that bond? Like this is an anomaly for us. Like we're lucky. Like we always have somebody. We have a little bit of a bond musically. We got something we can connect with.
And I think your music is so good and so real because you put your experiences in what you're dealing with in real life. And I think it's so important for people when they hear your music, they know this is real. This is a story Kenny's telling, that there's a lot of true things that happen in these songs.
Yeah.
I think that separates you from a lot of people, and I mean that in a great way.
Thank you. Yeah, some people can write about things. You write about what you know, and so it's always been sort of a tribute to those guys because I just know by the grace of God I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. So I always make sure that they're in my. They're always in the mention. Like that's when we sat down and talked about what do we want to talk about tonight. And I said, let's just talk about
your
just
life
what
is
the
so
veterans-
incredible. Okay, it's so incredible. You've achieved so much, and even now speaking of Hollywood, though, in a roundabout way, it did come to Hollywood because after the book, I think it was a book written about the story first, right? And then it turned into a Hollywood film where they called up you to be the consultant on that film, right?
Yeah, if by consultant you mean we got drank a lot of beers with the actors and got drunk. Yes.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah. No, so there was another movie getting made at the same time that was We Were Soldiers. Remember the Mel
And
Gibson
you're in
movie?
that.
Yeah. So that was the one I got to be the military advisor on. It just happened. Here's the thing about Hollywood: just keep showing up and don't suck. Like show up, don't suck, do your job. And they were like, well, you should.
That's another really good movie, though. Black Hawk Down and We Were Soldiers.
So they're both
two
getting made at the
terrific
same
films,
time.
Yeah.
If you go watch Black Hawk Down, there's a buddies of mine that are in that because they sort of infiltrated the movie set. It was filmed over in Morocco, and they just showed up on the set and kind of got in there.
And I remember you telling me a story about Mel Gibson, how they like these guys, like, are like it amazed you, like Mel Gibson could be like so like joking around. And then I remember you told me it was a real important scene that he was.
How do you remember this?
No, I remember everything.
God, good Lord, does he do this to you?
Yes.
Wow.
And you said that he was like literally like joking around, and they said action. He was directing that film too, wasn't he?
He was.
And
No, Randy Wallace.
Okay.
From Braveheart.
That's another. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
And he said he broke into like he turned it on the tears, real tears like that.
There's a scene in the movie in We Were Soldiers where Mel Gibson is surveying the battlefield, and it's the aftermath in this very heavy scene.
Yeah.
And 2 minutes before that, he's standing around like us, just telling jokes. He's certifiably nuts. Like, I don't know why we think that he needs to be this perfect person in the real world, because he's genius because he's nuts. And he's in there, he's telling these stories and he's joking around, and they're like, hey, picture's up. And he's like, hang on, guys. And he walks over to the front on the camera and rolling, and he's like, starts crying. Everybody's all emotional, and they go, that's a take, cut. And he's like, okay, so anyway, where was it? And you're like,
wow.
holy cow,
Wow.
dude. Yeah, he was a genius.
He is amazing. You got to see it firsthand. Now, are actors, like a lot of these guys, they're he's a tough guy in the movies.
He is.
I mean, Lethal Weapon, he was whooping some butt.
Yeah, that's more.
These guys
like
are little,
how he
though,
really
aren't they?
is.
The actors are little, aren't they? A lot of them.
Yeah,
like
some
he's
of
not
them
a big guy. He's a little guy. Isn't he?
Yeah. No, Mel's not. He's
not?
He's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Stands tall.
How about going from little to another big song with the band?
You want to do another song?
Yes, sir.
That is why we're here.
That is true. It's part of the reason.
That's one of those weird things. Like,
part of the reason.
Like it's like sort of like the encore.
Now,
thing
which
where
song are you doing? Because I'm all confused.
Well, okay, so let's do something fun. So there's when you and I would sit down and write songs. So Nashville, for those of y'all who don't know, here's what's good about Nashville. Every morning we get up as writers, and it's a job. Like we treat it like a job. We come up and we come in to write. We get in at least like 10:30 or 11, right? Yeah. Early. We were up.
Discuss an idea and go to lunch.
And then we go to lunch, and then we come back. But these are how all these big, like, Billy's songs, like the Garth Brooks hits and the Bring on the Rains, that's how they're all written. We sit down and we hammer these things out, and you always get something that's good. And on this particular day, we sat down, like, damn, man, we need to write something that pays the rent. Like, I love writing military songs. We got to write something that's fun. Like, what's country music want? What's radio want? And like, well, they can never get enough of songs about Mexico.
I love it.
It's an easy song. So
one
look,
of my favorite
without
James
even,
Taylor songs is
but
Mexico.
even not even
Yeah.
knowing the song
Yeah.
yet, you already know what's going to happen, right? We're going to go south of the border. We're going to do something we shouldn't
Tequila's
have done.
going to be involved.
And it's going to rhyme with senorita and the drink.
Yep.
Margarita, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
And you're gonna do something with somebody you shouldn't have done it with.
Right.
And you're gonna wake up and be like, what happened? And that's
There'll be no animals involved, though.
no animals. And the beautiful thing about Mexico is there's only 2 words in the English language that even rhyme with it, and they're both gas stations. So,
I love it.
Yeah. So having said that,
What's the song called?
Mexico.
Mexico.
Let's tune now. Hang on, guys.
Mexico. Kenny Thomas, everybody.
Wait. I'm tuning, dude. This is like.
You're tuning.
This is the.
Folks,
you do not get this on the
This
record.
is the album. This is the album version.
You don't get it
If
on
you
the album.
go and download this album, you'll hear an acoustic beginning.
Okay.
You ready?
You ready?
Get it.
Here goes another sad song about a trip gone wrong down in Mexico. Mariachi band and a girl with a tan met at the Texaco. Was singing, I fell in love with the wrong senorita. I one too many margaritas. And how it all happened, I don't know. No hablo español.
for spring break. Cobble wobble, can't wait. Gonna have the time of our lives. But the cooler's running low, so we found a Texaco, holding for another bag of ice. She was leaning on my front hood. Woo, she was looking good. Couple of Coronas in her hand. She said, "You're new in town, let me show you around." Me and her mind, now she would love to meet your friend. Here goes another sad song about a trip gone wrong down in Mexico. A mariachi band and a girl with a tan met out to Texaco. We're singing, "Ay, ay, I fell in love with the wrong senorita." And ay, ay, I had one too many margaritas. And how it all happened, I don't know. Oh, no, I blow Espanol. Another sad, sad song about a trip gone wrong down in Mexico. Mariachi. Yeah. So next time I come on the show, maybe we'll have a budget and we can get a whole mariachi band. It'll be great. Well, I knew I was in trouble when I started seeing double. I was singing with the mariachi band. Maria does the rumba and I'm singing La Bamba. Is that a preacher with a Bible in his hand? And then I woke up in the bed. There's a pounding in my head. Maria says, "Buenos dias, mi amor." And there's a ring on my finger. I swear I don't remember. Your Honor, is that grounds for a divorce? Here goes another sad song about a trip gone wrong down in Mexico. A mariachi band and a girl with a tan met out to Texaco. And I fell in love with the wrong senorita. Here it is. And I one too many margaritas. Yeah, and all that happened, I don't know. 'Cause now I blow Espanol for the sad, sad song that a trip gone wrong. And now I'm gonna spend the rest of my life drunk on some beach with my beautiful wife. It's really not a bad song, after all. About a trip gone wrong down in Mexico.
Yes, I love that song.
Dude, that was an amazing follow, guys. You guys killed it.
That was fun.
Yeah. Where did you go? Would you check
I'm
it
right
out?
over here.
Okay.
I'm right over here. I got this whole area to myself.
All right, gotcha.
All 5 feet of it.
Hey, Jared,
Unbelievable.
I'm gonna unplug for just a second and get tuned, or you just mute me so I can tune.
Speaking of Jarrett, we got Jarrett, John, Matt, making the show happen. They're awesome. You know, we mentioned earlier, you've worked with some amazing people in this town in Nashville, Tennessee. You got to work with Emmylou Harris, Keni Rogers.
Sure, no doubt.
You did a great record. I think it was released as a single, that Black Hawk. Wonderful group that I always admired, Henry Paul and the guys.
Yep.
That they sang on the record with you. It was really cool. It was one of my favorite records. I really loved that one.
Yeah, we had Brent Mayer. Who,
Right,
Brent,
right.
Brent's like a Jedi of producers, and Brent started calling in people when we did this Flags of Our Fathers record, and man, everybody said yes. I remember walking in one day and.
Can they still get that album? Can we get it on Spotify and those kind of things?
Yeah, Flags is still out there.
Check it out.
Flags
folks.
of
It's
Our,
such a
Flags of
great
Our
album.
Fathers. And I walked in the studio and Emmylou Harris is there. And even if you didn't know who Emmylou was, you would know she was somebody. because she just has this presence.
Yes, she does.
And so she goes in there and she's listening to the track and she starts singing her part and she politely trashes me. It was awesome. She goes, "Oh, okay, Keni, yeah, I see what you're doing. You're pushing it. But don't worry, Willie does the same thing." And then I was
That's
like,
good company.
I go, "Willie." She goes, "Yeah, Nelson." And then we're, "Oh, Willie Nelson." Yeah, and then she comes in and she starts talking about the war effort, because this was early, man. The war was just going over in Iraq. And so she starts talking about how, you know, when we grew up in the 60s, we just really, we didn't treat the soldiers the way that they deserve to be treated. She was, and Bruce and I were talking about that the other day. What can we do to help with our names? And I was like, Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
different crowd that she's hanging with.
Did you end up having dinner with Bruce?
I did.
How about that, folks?
Yeah.
You killed me.
And then he stayed at the table with his son, and I had to go up and sing. And I'm going, okay, I'm gonna play this song now. And Bruce Springsteen's sitting behind me, and everybody's going.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. How did something like that come about? Mind me asking.
Military. I'm going to tell you that most of the pretty cool things that I've gotten to do in this lifetime, with the exception of my family, Heidi, Jet, and little Scarlett.
Hope they're watching tonight.
I know they're watching. Heidi rounded up everybody that she knows up there in Ohio, which is like six
people.
Six cities.
Oh, 6 cities.
Yeah, no, not 6 people. Yeah. That's you and me. Yeah. And so the what was I talking about?
You're talking about how much you are a fan of me.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about.
No, you're talking about Emmylou. You're talking about all the things, the great things happen because of the military, like
correct.
meeting
So
Bruce
all
and having dinner with Bruce.
The cool things that you get to do, what you find is that because I was a veteran, doors get to open, and there's just a level of respect there. And so when those doors open, you go in, and I have found that if you're genuine and your intentions are honorable, and that's your end state, is to make sure that you honor the men and women that serve, and that it's not about, you know, floating your own boat and banging your own drum. It's not about that. Then I think people get that.
Yes. That's what I said about the music earlier. That's why I love your music, because it's you're doing some fun songs tonight, but I also love the song. I do love the songs that you sing about your experiences in the military.
Hey, Don, let's do one.
Because that to me is unique to you. You know what I mean? And I want to ask you this question. I'm curious about this because I don't know the answer to this. Believe it or not, I don't know the answer to something. I know, man. Now, what inspired you to the music? Like, what was there an artist on TV? Was there somebody that you loved as a little boy that you wanted to pick up guitar and start singing songs? Like, who was that? What was that moment? Do you have a moment there?
I would say there was a moment, but it's just a disease.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're born with it and you can't shake it.
But there wasn't like a moment like you heard like, oh my gosh, I love that.
Well, now I knew when I wanted to be on a stage, and there was a moment for that one. And we'll talk about that later because I think we're going to do.
Yes, but I also want to say, like, I want to ask you a question too. Did you perform while you were in the military? Did you perform?
Yes. So I was that guy. I was the guy that had the guitar.
I was curious about. I didn't know the answer to that either.
Right.
Like, were you like, hey, sing us a song, Keni? Come on.
I learned to play the guitar in the Army because you can't carry a piano.
That's true. Yep. Very, very heavy. Yep. I learned that.
Very, very heavy.
And
I learned to play, and that was fun. You know, we get to hang around and with some downtime, and you play songs, and you just kind of learn to play what the guys want to hear.
It could be, again, I don't know, but I bet it could be a big tension reliever too in situations where, like, if you could just take them somewhere else for a few minutes.
I think if you were to hang, and this is an interesting thing, someone pointed it out to me, if you were to hang around with a bunch of us as Ranger buddies and operators, and we're sitting there talking, it would be a very light, joking conversation about things that most people would go, it's kind of weird. You guys have this weird, sarcastic humor about everything. Do you just not care or feel? It's like, no, it's not that. But if we were serious about everything that should be serious, it would be overload for us. So we needed that.
I admire y'all so much.
We need that release. And music, thank God for me, was when I got out. I got out and got Brent got the writing deal, got the record deal, and so it was a transition of passion. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't have to do what a lot of the men and women are doing right now, where they come home and they're like, okay, where do I fit in? Like,
it's the hardest thing.
Who's on my left? Who's on my right? What am I doing?
I've got relatives of my own that were in the military a long time, and they're wonderful people, and they were in charge of some very important things over there. and just I mean, they were charged of whole groups and right in the thick of battle sometimes, and then they come home and they got to get back in civilian life, and they don't have a great musical passion like you do, and can write songs and sing and perform. They have to find something for them that works, and it's hard.
It is.
It's hard to get back in the groove.
It's hard to find. We call it the transition.
Yeah.
So the transition is difficult, and the advice when people go, well, how did you do it? I'm like, for what you're going to have to do is, because what you'll hear is folks, veterans will say, man, people don't get it out here. They just don't get it. They're all looking out for themselves. I'm like, I just don't know that they aren't supposed to get it because they didn't join the military, but you get it. So why don't you go share what it is that you know and start setting the example for others to follow? Yeah. And sooner or later, maybe you won't change the institution, but you will change the 2 or 3 people that are around you. So set the example and learn, do what you were taught when you wore the boots.
Yes, sir.
Because I mean that's a fantastic transition into the song. Because it's about, we sat down that day, Billy and Brent and I, and he's like, well, what do you want to write about? And I'm like, setting the example for others to follow in situations that are tough.
This is a great tune.
And even when you would rather say not me. And immediately Brent starts telling a story about how he was a coach, and he didn't want to be a coach. He was just dropping his son off at Little League, and he was the only dad that showed up. And they thought, so they handed him the clipboard. And he's like, well, not me.
I've done that.
Not me, right? And then 7 years later, he's still
Mom was doing the football game. Just want to watch my son play, and the next thing you know, I'm doing the sticks, the first down sticks, whatever they call.
We're gonna check Don for the sticks.
We need somebody to work the sticks. Oh, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So I've been there.
So this is a song about doing the things that the tough things that need to be done.
Is Jay gonna play fiddle with you on this one?
Jay is definitely gonna play. And you're gonna play the part of Vince Gill and Emmylou on this song because they both sang with me.
Okay, I'll try.
The words are not me.
Not me.
Yeah, that's all you got.
I remember this song. And folks, if you just joined us, this is Keni Thomas, our special guest, Don Ellis Gatlin Show. Great song.
No one raised their hand that day when they asked for volunteers. He got picked out by default, was the only daddy there. We know what you're thinking, choose someone else instead. But this league was built on coaches who stood right there and said, not me. No way with this job of mine, I could never find the time. Not me, not me. But the world becomes a better place when someone stands and leads the way, steps forward when they'd rather say not me. Judge says you're the oldest, makes you the legal guardian. I'm sorry how you lost your folks, there's no next of kin. Brother and a sister, she knew how hard it's gonna be, but she softly said, I'll raise them, while the voice inside her screamed, not me. What's happening? This isn't how it's supposed to be. Not me, not me. But the world becomes a better place when someone stands and leads the way, steps forward when they'd rather say not me. Captain and attention, a star pinned on his chest. calls a battle, while the final roll calls are read. Well, the finest soldiers, it was my privilege to lead. They deserve the medals, men who died, not me. Not me, not me. I just did what I was called to do. Do the same if it was you. Not me, Lord knows not me. But the world becomes a better place. Someone stands and leads the way, steps forward when they'd rather say not me. Yeah, yeah, steps forward when they'd rather say not me. Not me. Good job, Don.
Yeah.
Kenny
Good job,
Thomas, that was awesome.
It's pretty, isn't
That
it?
was awesome.
Yeah, good
My
job.
goodness, folks.
Emmylou Ellis,
Woo!
right there. Look at you.
I'm having a great time. I hope everybody out there watches this all over the world. We've been having folks watching from Switzerland, from the UK, all those great places. And we're really appreciating it, folks.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, all over the world watching.
Good for you. You've been
Great,
working hard to make
great
this
guest
happen.
tonight, Kenny Thomas, everybody. Now, I've seen you on just a lot of TV shows over the years and in movies.
Mm-hmm.
And one episode, there was a guy, Louis C.K., and this show was like the show to watch. It was must-see TV, his show that he did.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, my buddy Kenny Thomas, on probably the best episode he ever did, is starring in this episode. I mean, starring in it with Louis.
Yeah, Louis and I went on a USO tour together, and man, I didn't even know he was as big as he was. And then he comes back, he calls me and says, hey man, I want to do an episode about our USO tour. And he said, can you help me get back over to Iraq? I'm like, yeah, but they're not going to let you go over there and just shoot your thing and turn around and come back. We're going to have to stay for like 2 weeks. He's like, we'll shoot it here in America. And so we shot it over in California, and I showed up on, and I still didn't know how big his show was. And
Huge.
So Louis, if you guys were ever fans of his show, one of the cool things that I admired about him, he did most of it himself. Like it was like this.
Yeah.
It was a skeleton crew, and he would edit on his laptop as they shot. And so Louis trying to, I think I was telling you a story. Yeah. So he gets there, and it's California, right? So, and they're freaked out over there because they're all like, everything's union, and there's dudes. Like Louis like, what's your job? He goes, I lay carpets over rugs. He goes, that's your freaking job? He's like, yeah, how much are you getting paid? Like he's getting pissed off, right? Because everything's costing him money.
Oh,
and so
man.
They have a helicopter in the scene, and all he's worried about is how much the helicopter is costing him fuel.
Yeah.
So the helicopter lands, we jump out of the bird, and it's a walkthrough. They call it blocking, so the camera guy knows what he's supposed to do. So we walk through, we walk into the tent, we play, he says some jokes, we play our song for the soldiers. It was real soldiers. They brought the military base out.
See, I didn't even know that it was all just in California. I thought you guys actually went over there. That's
Yeah,
how it looked.
Yeah,
It
they
looked
did a good
good.
job. They did a really good job. And we're playing, we get done, and Willie's go, all right, man, that was great. Next scene. I'm like, dude, that was a walkthrough. He's like, no.
He totally got you.
Yeah,
He
totally
got
busted
you.
it. So again, it's important not to suck.
My son and I saw him in concert here in Nashville. It was 17,000 people. I mean, a comedian walking out to a sold-out 17,000 seat venue.
Say what you want about Louis, but man, I'm gonna stand here right now. I will not be one of the guys that pulls out the lynching party on that guy. He is a solid American.
You really shouldn't pull out anything when you're talking about Keni.
Don't pull anything out on this show. That's a whole nother channel. That's Don Ellis something, double X.
We're going
Louis
for ratings.
was passionate about the troops. I remember one night we were in Iraq, and the generators went out, and there was no power, and someone's scrambling. You can hear somebody's yelling at some private, like, what, it's your fault, I don't know, Sergeant. And Louis walks out there, and it was probably 1,200, 1,300 folks standing in the cold, stands out there and does this whole thing with no mic, just yelling it out and holds it down. And he's just
I admire those entertainers. I'm sure you guys probably pretty move up on the street cred when they go over there. I know lots of people like Elizabeth Banks, actresses like that. I remember Robin Williams used to do that a lot.
He did a lot of
used
them.
to go over a lot.
Zach Brown is
Oh,
real
I
passionate
love
about
Zach
it.
Brown.
Zach goes over there a bunch, and Kelly Pickler. What happens is when you actually make the commitment, say, okay, I'm going to go spend Christmas in Afghanistan, because who doesn't want to go to Afghanistan for Christmas? And they all go, and they get addicted to it because they realize there's no better audience on the planet. Those folks are
I've never done
appreciative.
it. I've been very blessed career. I've never done that. I always have wanted to do that. And so if you know anybody, if you ever have anybody falls out and you need somebody, call me.
Someone falls
we'll
out.
do it. At least me and Josh will. We'll do it. But we'll all do it. We'll all do it. I'll tell you what, another film that you were in, and this was a big hit film, and it starred Tennessee's own.
Yeah.
She's from Tennessee, Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
And it's a great film. It's called Sweet Home Alabama.
You ever heard that one?
And
It's one of my favorite movies.
it's a great movie. It's a great film.
It's
And
so
so there's a big
check every month. It's pretty
Well,
cool.
this guy's in that film also, and there's a great scene. It's a very important scene, I think, in the film because it kind of connects
Playing the
everybody.
song. They're playing
Right.
the song.
And they're connecting the relationships in the film. The old boyfriend with the old husband with the. It's a big scene in the film, and they're dancing together. This guy, this was not in the show. I'm putting this on him, but he performed this song. If you watch the movie, it's Keni doing this song by Leonard Skinner, a little song called, obviously, Sweet Home Alabama. And we didn't play in this. I'm putting this on him. Can we do it?
You want to do it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm going to tell you a cool story about that song.
All right, give it to me.
So Disney was the actual producers behind the movie. So they, we lucked out. They were in Atlanta shooting some of the movie in Atlanta, and we were playing that night. Cornbread was playing in Atlanta, and they came out to see
your
us.
band, yeah.
And like, man, we want to get you in the movie. And so we finally get there. We're in the movie, and so now you're going to go do this big time recording. Now, I hadn't come to Nashville yet, so
That's
I'd never
right, that
been in
was
a
right
real
before.
studio.
Right.
So like this, I'd never been in anything
Right.
pro like this, and I was like, man, how do we do? What did he want? They just come in. You're gonna play Sweet Home Alabama. We're gonna have a couple songs for you to play, and we're gonna use them for the soundtrack. I'm like, okay, great. Here's what I found. Who doesn't know how to play Sweet Home Alabama? We all thought we've been playing it for years. The engineer had just left the Brian Setzer Orchestra from Hollywood and came to Atlanta the night before. And so we're in there, we're tracking, and we're like, Sweet Home. He goes, hey guys, stop for a second. This is really bad. We're like, what? This is really bad.
We're playing like we've always played it.
We're playing like, and we realized, one, you get an appreciation for how good Leonard Skinner
It's a great
really
record.
was. Yeah,
it's a great record.
fantastic
It just
record.
got played so much.
It did.
Leonard Skinner, that's a compliment to Leonard Skinner. They've got songs that are great, amazing records, but they were so good, people wore them out. Eagles got songs like that. You know, the great
out.
bands. That's just because, that don't mean the song ain't great, just because everyone wanted it and played it. This is one of those songs.
So we really had to sit down and get our chops back. And,
Now,
and really-
Reese
and-
Witherspoon, how hot is that?
She's fantastic. Fantastic.
She's little though, right? She
tiny,
is little.
Tiny person.
Yeah.
Person.
She
is-
seems like a
she's
beautiful lady.
Very sweet Southern person. Her mother was on the set. Her brother was on the set. She's just very sweet. She's
love it.
exactly what you would expect.
Take it from the movie, Sweet Home Alabama, the man who sang the song, Kenny Thomas. It goes like this. We'll sing it together.
All right, here we go, everybody at home. Pick it up.
Yeah!
Here we go.
Big wheels keep on turning, coming home to see my kin, singing songs about the Southland. Miss Alabama once honey. Now muscle shows they got the swamper. And they've been known to sing a song or two. Oh, they give me all so much. Yeah, they pick me up when I'm feeling blue. And now how about you? Oh, sweet home Alabama, where the skies are so blue. Sweet home Alabama, when I'm coming over you. Alabama. Come on, Jay. Alabama high, Alabama high, Alabama high. Call me the breeze. Call me the breeze.
How about that?
You're
Yes.
the best
Kenny
soul
Thomas.
backup
Thank you,
singer
man.
ever.
I've made hundreds of dollars in this business.
Literally.
Hundreds.
Literally. Made
Oh my
hundreds
gosh.
of dollars.
I tell you what, we are in a great, great studio. These guys, especially Jarrett back there, has been working his butt off to make the studio better, more beautiful, sounding better. John doing an amazing job on the sound. Jarrett James right there. Oh, really? We don't normally do that now on my glasses, but I'll do that. Anybody want to take a stab at that? That was beautiful. Where we go? Well, I want to know where these people are from too, 'cause that's really cool when they're from like other countries and stuff.
We love Don Ellis.
We had Guam,
Yay.
Ohio.
Oh, H10.
My brother Albert. I love my brother Albert.
Yeah.
He sings, he sings really good, and
Your brother Albert?
my brother Albert,
okay.
yeah, and he's like, I think his voice. Sometimes voices, as the older you get, they get more distinguished and get even better. Like my brother, I think my brother's singing better than he's ever sang.
So I got that to look forward.
That's a good to look forward to.
Yeah, which is nice.
You know, we're getting older.
Hey, y'all, this is great. You guys are, Don, you're doing an amazing thing, making this happen. You guys taking the time and the resources to make this. It's a beautiful thing.
I love it.
And
Thank you, everybody out there.
Y'all, thanks.
Well, you know what? It helps when you have an amazing guest, Kenny Thomas. That really helps.
Wait, so help me out. Is that a weird camera thing where we're just going, looking up at a TV screen?
It looks weird.
Okay, all right. So we'll put the monitor up here so we can read them.
It's all good.
All right.
It looked like we were like drunk in the middle of like Oklahoma somewhere, thinking we see a flying saucer.
Yeah.
What is it? What is it? We're really from France? Oh my gosh! Can you speak any French?
We.
Oui. That's all he's got is oui, ladies and gentlemen. Kenny, where can they where can they find your music? Where can they find your stuff?
Find record shops everywhere.
Okay.
Oh wait.
No, there's four.
There's four.
Four of them. All four of those places. Grimey's. Grimey's a great record store. Grimey's a great record store in Nashville.
It is. It was
Great one.
It's over on Trinity
Yeah,
Lane.
they moved it. They moved it to Trinity. Sure did. It's a great store.
Go to our website. There's the last record that we did, a full-length record,
Right.
an album was called Give It Away, because I've started learning that's pretty much what we were doing with our music anyway.
Right.
Was giving it away. So we give it to you. Go get it and spread the word. And the songs meant something to me. They meant enough that I recorded them and tracked them, and so I hope they mean something to you. But you can get everything off our website, or just type. And if you type Kenny Thomas in and something doesn't come up for sale, someone's getting fired.
There you go. There you go.
I'm
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. But again, is there any new projects you're working on, or any new television projects or music projects or anything you're working on right now?
Thank you for asking. There's there's two things. One, I want to give a shout out to, there's a group that I work with, they're called TAPS, so Tragedy Assistant Program for Surviving Family Members. Basically, it's the family members who've lost somebody in the military.
Right.
TAPS steps in, and they don't have any one specific way of helping everybody. They just help. They just get, okay, maybe
That's
you just need a hug. Maybe you need someone to drive your kids to school because you got to go, whatever, they come in. So not too long ago, they brought some of the family members to town and did some rites with some of us writers. So Billy Montana
nice.
and I got to sit down with a lady who was the wife of a Marine pilot who he had died of, he had made it home from the war, but he died of cancer, from some weird complications. So she's never been part of the writing process, and she sits down and starts, she's pulling out love letters and stories and songs.
Oh, nice.
And what Billy and I realized very quickly was because we kept going, okay, we're ready, let's start writing. Okay, we got it, let's start. And we just did this. And we just sat
And listen.
listened.
Yeah.
And man, what a lesson that was for me. You know, for guys like you and me who are so used to having a microphone, shut your pie hole and listen.
Yes.
Because some of that's really, she's never been able to download it.
Right.
And man, for some reason, like we were listening to God that day. I always letting people go, oh, God showed up on that, right? When is he not there? You just weren't listening. And we got this amazing song. It was never meant to be a hit. You know, it was her story, but it was called "Isn't It Amazing?" And remember
I'm putting you on the spot. Can you play
well,
that
no,
one?
because
Okay,
I want to
okay,
tell you,
okay.
this is the project. You asked me something new, and I
Right.
want everybody to go check this out. Because remember
Yes,
the band?
please do.
Remember the '90s? Like they were early 2000s. They were a boy band. All for One. They had that, and I swear by the moon and the stars.
Is that weird? We were just talking about it.
Were we?
See,
Just talking
Frank Myers, who's a
Frank, Sippy Cup Milk Myers. Yeah.
Frank's our guest in 2 weeks.
Frank, there you go. Frank will tell you all about it. So Frank
Yeah. He's
spearheaded
amazing.
this.
He's
He
amazing.
spearheaded this whole project.
Yeah.
So those guys come in and they track the song. And man, you know, if I played it for you, it'd be, isn't it amazing? I just played this little acoustic song. Those guys came in and they just took it to this whole thing. And I'm talking about guys whose voices get better. I mean, you know, I don't know what they're in. They're maybe 30s or 40s now, but they freaking crushed that song.
I saw them on I want to say a David Foster special program, and they sounded maybe better than ever. Yeah.
Incredible. So that would be something I'm super proud of. It's Love Lives On is the project, but I think if you wrote in Isn't It Amazing, All for One, it'll come up. There's
I
like
love
a little
that.
lyric
Please do
video.
that, folks. I know if you're getting behind this thing, I know this is important to you, and it's got to be some incredible music. People need to hear this.
Yeah, man.
People need to hear
And
this.
there's a whole bunch of artists that jumped in on it and did some really cool things, and but they're very personal stories. Some of
Yeah,
them.
Frank was talking about that. We were talking on the phone just about things and getting planning out how we want to do the show here, you know, in the future. And he was telling me a little bit about that. Now I really want to dive in and hear all these songs.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's incredible.
it's-
He's an amazing songwriter, and I love the music you've done here tonight. Now, is this a song with Kenny Rogers?
This is the one with Kenny Rogers.
Folks, as everyone out there knows, I've been very lucky and blessed to travel around the last year doing shows with the Kenny Rogers Band because Savannah Jack, we opened up for Kenny 66 times all over the world. And like some of the places that are coming up on our wall here. And he's been one of my heroes. And you got to do something, I'm telling you. Kenny Rogers just did not do this for everybody. It's very rare later in his career, too, that I don't think he guested on anybody's record but yours. I really think so. I know he sang with Lionel Richie back. He sang on a big hit song with Lionel, did the harmony back in the 80s, early 80s. But I had not seen him show up, and next thing you know, he's on your record.
Yeah.
That'd be a special moment.
Never been lost on me. Yeah.
That's a special
And
moment.
you know what? He was. I got quite a few chances to see him here and there. Like we did a telethon for him one time, and we were told, so hey guys, you're gonna do Kenny Rogers telethon. I'm like, yes, I'll get to see Kenny again. And I get there, and it's a cardboard cutout of Kenny. I'm like,
Really?
but I played his best because he wasn't doing that day.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
we were there.
Well, I want to do one shout out tonight to my publisher, 3 Minutes Away Music. Thank y'all for supporting what I do and what these all great songwriters do, like this gentleman right here do. Appreciate you very much out there tonight. And we're gonna hear that song that Kenny Rogers is on the record with Kenny Thomas. It's a great song. It goes like this.
So if you get to go visit the Vietnam
Baltimore, Washington, D.C. When one of our soldiers or servicemen were listed as a POW or missing in action, a cross was inscribed next to their name. You can walk up and down that wall, and it would be time well spent. The idea was if one of those members made it back alive and accounted for, they put a circle around the cross to signify the circle of life. To this day, there are still no circles inscribed on the Vietnam Wall. My daddy got the call sometime in the summer of '69. Did his tour in the war, but the home he was fighting for wasn't what he left behind. I was there that day when the telegram came and Mama fell to her knees. He was a mighty good man, but he fell into the hands of the North Vietnamese. For every man that gave his life, another folded stars and stripes. Husbands, fathers, brothers, sons, they'll never be forgotten. When you find what once was lost, put a circle on the cross. Do the best I can, but the army wasn't paying and she had a boy to raise, so she found herself another man. And I was there that day when the taps was played and they buried his name in the ground. Well, the preacher was still talking as the mama started walking and she ain't never turned around. Another folded stars and stripes. Another man who gave his life. Husbands, fathers, brothers, sons will never be forgotten. When you find what once was lost, put a circle on the cross. Put a circle on the cross, on the cold black wall. Circle on the cross, 60,000 Never knew my daddy, but we're the same man after all. It wasn't my reflection, no. I was all staring back at me from that wall. Put a circle on the cross, on the cold black wall. Circle on the cross, for the boys who will never come home. Put a circle on the cross. Yeah, for 60,000 gone. Put a circle on the cross. Yeah. On behalf of a grateful nation, we're sorry for your loss. Put a circle on the cross. Hey, put a circle on the cross. Yeah, put a circle on the cross.
Wow.
Good
Keni,
job, man.
If I got one criticism, I need you to get into the song a little bit. Let it go. Loosen up.
Scare some people.
Wow.
Yeah, good job, you guys.
That
Thank
was
you.
awesome. That was all. We need pyrotex on that.
Boy, yeah.
That was amazing.
Boy, yeah.
That was really true. Tony, great guitar work at the end there too. Tony on
Isn't it awesome?
guitar work. How about the whole band? Awesome. Okay, that was really terrific, man. I'm serious.
That's still my favorite song to play live of down flat out.
Yeah, I've seen you
down.
do. Things get broken though in that song. Chairs go flying.
Guitars.
Hey, we did have another special guest. We have Key.
Key buddy, come here.
Key made an appearance a couple times tonight.
come here.
This beautiful dog. Is there a story behind this beautiful creature?
Yeah, thank you for so Key is a service dog. He is from a group that trains them called Southeastern Guide Dogs. What they started finding was just, again, we're talking about the veterans who were coming home and they just felt a little bit lost, surrounded by people, still felt lost because they didn't have the parameters of the left and the right, and they looking for that purpose. And they found that these dogs, when trained, were fantastic companions for a lot of these veterans. Like I got
best.
buddies that wouldn't get off their ass if it wasn't for the dogs. And so Southeastern, the way that I came about it, because I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. It was like, well, if I get this service dog, people are gonna think you're jacked up. It's like a scarlet letter. They're gonna be like, well, what's wrong with you? Why you gotta have this dog? And the only person and what I learned was, nobody cares. They just wanna pet the dog.
Right.
The only person that's ever asked me was an 8-year-old kid, why do you have a dog?
Right.
And I answered him truthfully. I'm like, I think what Key does for me is he slows me down. He gets me out of my own head. Like, how many times you run into B&A in the Nashville airport and you're just fired up at people because
Yeah.
like this, and you
We just did that.
right, and you're like, and he would, as much as I travel, he was always there, and he would go up on the stage during all my speaking events and meet all the people afterwards. And
So how old is Key?
4 now, and
4,
so
okay.
Southeastern
Still
does this
long.
all on. They provide this for veterans, and
Oh, that's fantastic.
what I realized he's been for me is we have sent veterans that have been in the audience have come up afterwards. And you can always tell. You know, like you always want that person who waits after the whole line's done and they're standing there and you're like, and you're smoked because you've been shaking hands and being nice.
Right,
and you're
right.
like, and then you see that guy or that girl
yeah.
and you go, okay. And you walk over and you're like, what's going on? And they're like, hey man, do you mind if well, what's up with the dog?
Right.
And then I'll tell them, and I know that just in the people that have talked to me, I know 4 of them now have dogs because they've gone through the program, they've done the work, and it's just it's a blessing. It's tough
Beautiful
on Heidi
dog.
at home because, you know, your dog has a lot of hair.
He
He does have a lot of hair, but
The dog's become the second star of the show tonight.
he does. People just want to
Key, you're awesome. You're awesome. I got two little puppies at home myself.
What do you got?
Sure do.
What kind of
You know,
dogs
I wish you would have. I have no idea. I'm the worst. I'm the worst of that. I should know what my dogs are. It's not even.
What?
No, Shih Tzu.
There's a name you don't want to mess around
You guys
with.
are probably right.
It is. What's
It's
a Shih Tzu? I don't know.
it's a York/Terrier. I have no clue. I have no clue, but they're beautiful, beautiful dogs. And Kenny, great show tonight. And every show we do, every guest we have on there, at the end of the show, they do a song from their biggest influence. And you've got a really good, one of my favorite singer-songwriters, who I've never seen in concert. I've seen almost everybody.
No.
Because you can always learn good things and bad things from everybody you see.
Yep.
And
Especially your influences.
he's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I've never seen him. I thought one time I had a chance when he was opening for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. He did a tour with them.
That's when I saw him.
Is that when you saw him?
Yep.
And so many great songs. I'm talking about Mr. Jackson Brown.
So when you asked me, hey, we're gonna do a song at the end that was like one of your influences, and I could not, seriously, it was a silly, like you would think, oh yeah, I'll do this one. And ask Heidi, I was walking around the house, should I do Tom Petty or should I do Jackson Brown?
I
Tom
remember you said
Petty
Wham,
or
too.
Jackson Brown, and Wham. Dude, they earned that exclamation point. Wham! You don't just get Careless Whisper.
Careless Whisper's a great song.
I'm just saying.
Careless Whisper's a great song. I sing that drunk in Cozumel.
Yep.
I did. In the restaurant. Well,
I guess it would be nice
if I could touch
your body. I know not everybody is somebody like you. Yeah, I gotta think twice before I hit my heart.
See, they're going to charge us double for that.
That's my biggest.
That was now, see, that's technically not Wham. That's George Michael's solo.
Oh, I didn't.
You got to go. You put the
I was
boom,
not
boom
present in the
into
80s.
my heart.
Yeah.
You're on the full sky line in the loving stars. A jitterbug into my brain. That's Wham. That's Wham. But folks, we're going to close out the show tonight with a song. And Kenny's so talented, he's going to jump on piano because he plays that
Follow me.
also.
Let's go over here.
Follow me, follow me. This guitar will fall as sure as I'm standing here with you the way you perform.
Okay.
I'm moving it somewhere else. Or I'm gonna play it like Sammy Kershaw. and just
I
hold it.
grew up in
love
I grew
Sammy,
up
I'm
in
just kidding.
Gainesville, Florida, which is Gainesville is where Tom Petty is from.
All right. Are you sure? Where's the? Oh, you know what? My bad. I didn't see the stand there. I thought he was just leaning it against there. I really did. I thought he was just leaning it against there. I went. That's not gonna work. That'll fall.
You've never been a roadie, have you?
No, I never. I've been very lucky and blessed to do this and nothing else. Here's a song. You got this one.
The story, Tom Petty is from Gainesville.
Oh, yes, I know
And
that.
when I saw them in concert, I already knew everything that Tom Petty did, and I try and emulate the way that he tells stories in his songs, and then gets these really cool choruses. I try. I don't know if I've ever gotten there. But at the time, my hair was long, and
I remember that.
And I looked, according to all the sound guys at the festivals, because I would sit down and do a sound check for the piano, and I'd be like, and they go, hey, and they do the talk back. Anyone ever told you that look like Jackson Brown? Yeah. And
You do look a
the
little
whole
like
reason I cut
when
my
your hair was long.
so that people stop calling me Jackson.
I've
Brown.
never seen you with shoes on. Most of the time I see Kenny's in his bare feet.
Yes, yeah, but I thought this was a country show.
It
so I
was a
wore my
little bit.
boots.
Well, no, it could be anything. Yes.
Josh is from Ohio, and I live in Ohio now with my family, and we were just having some talks about the difference between the North and the South, and Southerners and Northerners. But I think what I learned is there's good people everywhere.
Yes, sir.
There isn't any place like here. This is the island of misfit toys, man.
That's true.
And you're that lion, Keni.
Oh, Tearless. Oh, that's a different movie. We need to take us out again. Our special guest.
Okay, here we go.
Thomas,
Little
go take us
Jackson
out with some
Brown.
Jackson Brown.
1, 2, 3.
Looking out at the road rushing under my wheels. Looking out at the years gone by.
of the show.
was
Thank you so much for watching
much
tonight,
fun.
y'all. Appreciate all this band, incredible.
Yay!
All the guys, John,
That's a lot of fun.
Jared, Matt.
Good job,
We'll
guys.
see y'all down the road. Thank you, everybody.
We take this shit on the road.
How about that?
Take that on the road.
Great job,
That was a
man.
lot of fun.
Great job.